What's up? Happy Tuesday. Today is my dad's birthday, April 13th. So happy birthday, Pops. And we're going to we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 4. And I think that it's funny because this chapter kind of let me see how to say it. It kind of tells me the same thing that I was saying kind of yesterday, where I think sometimes I might be a little too harsh on my fellow brothers and sisters. And although I don't say it, sometimes I think that, and I try to usually be smart about the words I'm using and make sure I'm saying it in a loving way. But sometimes my passions and my emotions cause me to say things out of turn, or take things out of context, or say things I probably don't need to say, or shouldn't say, or shouldn't have said in the way that I should have said them. And I'm not afraid to apologize when I make a mistake or when I'm wrong, especially if I'm aware that I'm wrong. So I think sometimes I probably should read the scripture first, that way you can understand what I'm saying. But I heard a good quote today. I think I'm going to start off with a good quote. The quote is, "We all know what God's able to do, but we don't know what he's willing to do until we are in a situation where we need him to do it." We all know what God's able to do, but we don't know what he's willing to do until we are in a situation where we need him to do it. I thought that was a good quote. You can digest it and check it out. So we're going to start with chapter 4, and then I'll discuss what I was trying to do out of turn, as I'm talking about speaking out of turn to begin with. "Let a man consider us as servants of Christ and stewards of the mystery of God." And so if anybody's kind of like me, the word stewards aren't really a part of my vocabulary. You know what I mean? I've been on a plane like one time my whole life. So the word steward doesn't really, the definition of what that would mean doesn't really click with me. So I kind of looked up the definition. So if you're like me, here's the definition of a steward: a person who looks after people and makes sure they receive and get what they are supposed to. So a person who looks after people and makes sure that they receive what they are supposed to receive. So let a man so consider us as servants of Christ and stewards of the mystery of God. So we are to look after people and make sure they receive what they're supposed to receive when it comes to the mysteries of God. Moreover, it is required in stewards that one be found faithful. Which is funny because the word faithful came up in our Sunday school class this week. Here's the definition of faithful. So this is what we as stewards of the mystery of God are supposed to be. We're supposed to remain loyal, firmly fixed and placed, unmovable, true to the facts or the original. "But with me it is a very small thing that I should be judged by you, or by a human court. In fact, I do not even judge myself, for I know of nothing against myself, yet I am not justified by this. But he who judges me is the Lord. Therefore judge nothing before the time, until the Lord comes, who will both bring the light, the hidden things of darkness, and reveal the counsels of the hearts. Then each one's praise will come from God. Now these things, brothers and sisters, I have figuratively transferred to myself and Apollos for your sakes, that you may learn in us not to think beyond what is written, that none of you may be puffed up on behalf of one against the other. For who makes you differ from another? And what do you have that you did not receive? Now if you did indeed receive it, why do you boast as if you had not received it? So this is kind of what I was trying to get into a little bit was that sometimes I think that I'm saying stuff and I'm saying that that the church has been getting it wrong. And the question is, do I think that they got some things wrong? I personally do. I think that they have. But in all fairness, I have not had any dialogue with the church and the people that that I disagree with or they disagree with me. There's not been any dialogue or conversation created to try to figure this out, so I can't honestly say that they're wrong. I can say their perspective is different than my perspective. Their understanding is different than my understanding. And that makes sense because their journey's been different than my journey. So I can't honestly say that they're wrong. It's just a different perspective than my perspective. And a different understanding than my understanding. And with that being said, I guess just in case it doesn't get received, just so it doesn't get received wrong, and because if I'm being completely honest, in my mind, whether or not I actually come out and say, hey, y'all got it wrong, and I got it right, in my mind, I selfishly am thinking that. And this scripture is kind of telling me, hey, you are in no place to say that, because it's not like you came up with this stuff. It's not like you came to this conclusion. It's not like you did all this studying on your own, and you have nothing to boast about. You have nothing to lift yourself up and be puffed up about and think that you know more than the next person or that you know better than the next person. This is kind of what it's saying. So it's kind of chin checking me. You know what I mean? It was kind of big piggybacking off what God was just revealing to me over the weekend. That the only reason why even the stuff I'm talking about, God's love and the things that I see differently than other people, and it's normally about God's love. That's normally what I see it differently, and it always is me on the side of God's love and them on a different perspective or a different understanding than what my understanding is. But I didn't come to that conclusion myself. It's not like it has something to do with me. I've got this information and the understanding that I do have about God's love and the revelation I do have is all from God. The only reason why I know these things is because I had put myself in a place where I need delivered from. I put myself in a situation where I was entrapped and enslaved and imprisoned. And in order for me to get out of this place, God had to rescue me and deliver me and redeem me and pull me up out of the miry clay. And in the process of doing that, this is the information in which he's given me and the information which I received. So it has absolutely nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with what God's taught me, so that way I could get out of the situation and the places that I was at, that I had put myself in. So it's of nothing of my own doing. So any knowledge in which I'm telling you or explaining or witnessing to you from my experience and my journey and my perspective is of nothing of my own doing, of my own wisdom, of my own learning, of my own teaching, of my own understanding. It was all what God has imputed to me in the process of delivering me, in the process of setting me apart, a process of redeeming me, in the process of digging me out. So it's not like I'm in no position to say, hey, your perspective's wrong, my perspective's right, you're wrong, I'm right. I'm in no position of saying that because it wasn't I that did anything. It was God that did it all. And it was God that revealed these things to me. So God put in all the work. All I did was receive it. So I want to make sure that I'm not saying this in a way where it's elevating me to make me look like I'm smarter than you, or I'm better than you, or I know more than you, or I know some secret that you don't know. Because it's not. Because the whole reason why I even know any of this stuff is because I had put myself in a position where God had to deliver me and had to rescue me. And the only reason why I have this understanding or this witness or this wisdom is because I was there and God showed me these things in the process of delivering me. You know what I mean? So it would be like I'm drowning in the sea. God shows up in a boat, delivers me. Now I can tell you about the boat and I can tell you what I've seen around me, but I wouldn't know any of that if it wasn't for God. So it wasn't like this is all my own understanding, my own doing, and my own research and my own study, and I come up to this conclusion. No, I only know these things because God revealed these things to me in order to rescue me, in order to deliver me, if that makes any sense. So I just wanted to say that right off the bat and let you know that that I'm trying to correct some of the things that maybe because listen, I'm still learning too. I'm not above anybody, and I'm not smarter than anybody. I don't know more than anybody. I'm only trying to explain what I've seen. And then sometimes in the midst of my passion for other people, because I'm very passionate about, you know what I mean? I'm very passionate about those that aren't in church and don't come to church and haven't received God's love or don't know God's love. And their reasoning for not encountering Christ is because of the church or the things the church has done. So I'm very passionate about people that are being oppressed. I'm very passionate about people that are enslaved. I'm very passionate about those that don't know God's love because I was those people. I was in that spot. And I had no reason, I have no reason to be on the other side. I didn't do nothing to get on the other side. You know what I mean? I should still be drowning. I should still not know God. I should still not know God's love. I should still be in bondage. I should still be enslaved. If it had anything to do with me, but somehow, some way, God delivered me. Somehow, some way, God rescued me. And so now I'm just kind of trying to relay the message into the best of my knowledge and understanding of what that looked like to me in the midst of my journey, I guess. And I by no means want to sound like I'm puffed up and I'm better than, and you're right, and you're wrong, and I'm right. And I don't want to convey that message. And I think sometimes it comes across, well, not sometimes, I know it does, because God wouldn't have chin checked me otherwise. And so I know that I don't want to be taking things out of context and saying, and sometimes I think I just let my passion, and this doesn't just apply to this applies to everything in my life. There's a lot of times where I have to go back and apologize to people because I've let my passion and my emotion and my fervor for God and my fervor for wanting us to love one another and not oppress one another and beat each other up. I would sometimes let my passion and my emotion get the best of me and I just say stuff without thinking about it. Normally I try to think things through and make sure I know what I'm talking about, make sure that I'm not coming across as better than, because I'm definitely not. I'm not smarter than, but I think sometimes I get ahead of myself and I say things wrongly in a way where it can be received as if I'm better than or smarter than or know more. And in most cases, this happens when I'm talking to other brothers and sisters in Christ. And every once in a while, it even occurs when I'm talking to people that don't know Christ yet. But either way, I want to make sure that I'm man enough to apologize and try to correct my mistakes and make sure that everybody knows I'm still in a place of learning as well. I'm not above anybody else. I'm not better than anybody else. Heck, I don't even know how I'm sitting here in my own house with my own family, with my own vehicle. You know, I don't even know how I got to this place. Because in all due respect, I've done nothing to earn any of this stuff. I've done nothing to promote any or to receive or achieve any of these things. God's kind of done it all for me. And I've just tried to stay connected and latch on to him the best I could in the midst of it. In certain couple years of my life in the past, I had let go and I had disconnected based on some of my decisions. I'm not a dumb person, but I've made some dumb decisions in my life and made some dumb choices. So I'm just trying to articulate how I made those mistakes and what God did to restore me and deliver me and to bring me back into a place of peace and a place of freedom, I guess, if that makes any sense. All right, I'm not gonna keep blabbering on. Love y'all. I know I was only gonna do it once a week, but with the opportunity to go back to work, I don't know when the next time I'll be able to do a devotion. So I'm trying to give you some information in hopes that maybe something that I've went through or something I'm going through or something can give hope to somebody, help somebody, or shed some light for other people, or you know what I mean? I'm just trying to the best of my ability, share my love, share my hope, and let people know that if you're in a place where you're enslaved or entrapped or imprisoned, you don't always have to be there. And if you're struggling with addiction, you don't always have to be that person. And just because it looks bleak right now, and just because it looks dire right now, just because it looks like you don't know how you're going to get out, I'm telling you, God does amazing things. Nothing's impossible for God. So I'm trying to just be a pillar of light and hope that that the situation that you're in today isn't forever. Doesn't mean that who you are now is going to be who you always are. And what you're doing now, it doesn't have to dictate who you're going to be later. That there's victory on the other side. That there's hope on the other side. That there's freedom on the other side. Just cling to him. Just hold on to him. Just seek him. Search him. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep battling. I guess. Hey, I'm out.